Another day, another Uncle Sam video, another weld. Getting ready to weld up these control arm tabs that I didn't actually finish welding yesterday. And then I've made the decision that I'm going to completely redo the downpipes out of aluminum, make them a tighter radius out of like a thicker aluminum, and then just take the downpipes off, run these diagonal bars where they need to go, and then I'll just make my downpipes around those. So both sides will get new downpipes. I'm going to put the diagonal bars where they need to go. I ordered Motion Raceworks aluminum mid plate and a couple more sticks of 1 1/4 inch, so that way I ordered overnight shipping, so hopefully they get here tomorrow, so this weekend I can mount the mid plate, do the front plate mounts, all that good stuff. But today I'm going to be working on, like I said, I'm going to finish welding those tabs. I'm going to weld in my crossbar here, and then take the downpipes off, do those two strut brace bars, and then I'll probably end up mounting my rack today also. So I'm going to get busy welding, and then after that I'm going to get busy notching and cutting tubes, and just keep on keeping on from there. So come on. I got this bar completely welded around the top. I got the fronts, or one side of all these tabs welded, so now I'm gonna let them cool down while I take the downpipes off and start mocking up these bars so I can start welding those too. So that's what I'm doing next. Like I said, chromoly gets very brittle if you get it too hot, and it gets ugly. So I welded as much as I could. They're all really hot now, so I gotta let them cool down. First bar is made. It only took me like 2 hours because I screwed it up a few times, but ended up getting it just right because I was trying, so like cutting this much of an angle on that notcher, it did it like butter, but then I tried to re-notch it again and it caught weird, and I ended up bending breaking two of my hole saws. So finish it with the flap disc, which just takes a little longer. So, but now I know exactly what angles I need. So I'm gonna clean this bar up, tack it in, move to the other side, do that. After these bars are tacked in, I'm gonna weld them. And after those are welded, I'm gonna move on to mounting the steering rack. So I'm gonna keep on keeping on. steering rack is mocked up. I got one mount on it. I know it looks low because the arms are angled up, but like I said, I'm trying to mimic the same angle as the control arms. And obviously, I did some more math, and I think the ride height that I have it set at is gonna be a little low, so I already know I'm gonna adjust the strut cups up just an inch, and I'm gonna have a little more shock showing. So the actual chassis is gonna come up, I think, probably at least 2 inches. So chassis will come up 2 inches, which will level out my control arms and level out the steering. I got one tab here. Got one tab made there, then I just gotta make one more little tab over to there. And then once that's mounted, I can make the more, what do you call them? The more difficult tabs, sorry. My brain ain't working too well right now. I'm just like, I hit like a wall. I ate some hot Cheetos and it made me hit a wall, so probably shouldn't have ate. But I've got a couple more hours I'm gonna do before I head in. I'm gonna try to get the rack mounted. Once the rack's mounted, I'm going to pull the mock-up block and all that stuff back out, because like I said, I've got a new mid plate coming, more 1.25" tubing, so I can start on mounting the motor and the mid plate. I did get the strut bars, both strut brace bars in. Got those in. I got the control arm tabs welded the rest of the way inside and outside, all the way around. Not all the way around, but as much as I could get the tungsten in there to weld. Yeah. So once steering's done, honestly, once steering's done, man, I think once the steering's done, I can literally, pretty sure I could drop this thing on the ground. I'm trying to think of what would keep me from doing that. But I mean, now is the time to start measuring for radiator, start measuring for the fuel cell that's gonna go up here. I need to redo my steering shaft, all kinds of stuff. So I got plenty of work to still do, but I think the actual work on the chassis jig is coming to an end, which the chassis jig is really nice. It makes it easy to work on. I don't have to raise and lower it and do all that crap, but it will be nice once I can throw this thing back on the lift and actually roll it around. So my buddy Todd Johnson's got another wheel, because my wheel that got messed up in the crash, he has one actually from a car that I think that he wrecked that is still good. So he's going to give me that wheel and tire, same one that I had. I'm going to see if Colt can pick it up and bring it to me, because he offered to come up here and help me this weekend. So I might just take him up on that. So yeah. But until then, we're making good progress still. I had a ton of time in welding today. Fitting up those 2 bars, having that real laid over angle. The one bar took me quite a while. The other bar took me half the time, per usual. You know, you do something once and then the next one goes really fast. But yeah, so ton of time welding all that stuff up and just going over everything. I finished welding my little cross brace here. Now I'm gonna finish mounting the rack and then start looking at what I need as far as steering. So moving right along. So I just installed my steering tube here. My old shaft that's broke, but it looks like I'm going to be able to reuse this shaft. I'm just going to make a support back here and then put one of these here, run it over to that bad boy right there. Should be pretty much a straight shot there to there. But I did not have another one of these. This one had splines in it for to go on a rack. Well, I found this one, an extra one with splines, and I just drilled it out to 3/4 so that way I can use it for my tubing, because I'm impatient. I'm impatient and I'm cheap and I'm broke. And I don't want this to go to waste, because who knows the next time I'd use it. I hardly ever use them. So I got to use my new drill that I bought since I broke the other one. And luckily I had a 3/4 drill bit. What are the odds of that? So she's drilled out now, and I can actually get steering on this thing once it's on the ground. So, and I haven't even finished my mounts for the rack yet. I just started grabbing parts and sitting them on there and getting like a material list, and then I rabbit holed, squirreled this to where I started doing something and then just kept going down other rabbit holes, and I haven't even welded on the tab for the steering rack yet. So I'm going to get back to that, but I just wanted to tell you about my redneck steering knuckle, because I'm actually pretty proud of it. It drilled out pretty easily, and now I got a free knuckle. I got a knuckle. I got a knuckle. I got a knuckle. Hey, 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 hey. All righty, boys. Got the steering shaft in there. I got that bad boy drilled out. This cut the size. That cut the size. Enough clearance on the header there. I think I'm going to run a bar from down there up with this. I just had it. Well, either way, I have a Heim for that to run through that I can make a support for. But I got the rack bolted back in. So what I was talking about yesterday, checking the angle of the control arm versus the angle of the steering rack. This is something that I've always just eyeballed. This is the first time I've ever actually measured it. But I've never had like a stationary thing to measure off of. So I think I have mine pretty close right now. I think I might just need to space this rack up, like maybe even just put one washer under here to space the rack up just a little bit to take some angle out of that. But I guess I'll probably just see how it acts when I go through the travel. But so take this here, set it on there, zero it out. So we're at 0. This control arm was at 20 degrees, 19.9 degrees, 20 degrees. And then I took this level, and I don't even know if this is the right way to measure it, but this is how I would, think an engineer might measure it, or somebody that's smarter, way smarter than me. But from the frame up to here, and then put this bad boy on there, like that. That's 17.4. So I'm 2.5 degrees off. I don't know. If I straighten that out a little bit, it goes up a smidgen. But either way, I'm about 2.5 degrees off. I don't know if that's going to make that big of a difference, or if that'll be okay, or what. Like I said, the ride height, this is not going to be my ride height. I've already measured. This is going to obviously come down. These will be more level. But I don't know if the 2.5 degree difference is good, or if it needs to be more perfecter. So I'll probably call my buddy Brad from Tin Soldiers, see what he says about it. But either way, right now, as this sits, if I get my other wheel that Todd Johnson's going to give me, if I get my other wheel, weld up the steering, make a few more brackets here, put the springs on, put the wheels on, I could technically take this thing off the jig, and it could be a roller. How about them apples? This thing was no front half 4 days ago, 5 days ago, and now look at it. So I'm pretty proud of myself. There's been a lot of learning going on, and I have learned a lot, and I'm very excited about that because I love learning. So just to run down again, not that I haven't given you guys 11,700 rundowns, but braces in, strut cups are done, they're braced, control arms are done, tabs are welded, one mount is completely welded for that side of the rack. I just got to weld 2 more little tabs on the rack, weld up the steering, make a little eyelet support for the steering. But other than that, I'm taking everything back out and making some room for when my mid plate and my other tubing comes. Then I can do the mid plate, run those bars. Then I can start on firewall. And then I could start on brake lines. Then I can start on putting everything back together. And then it just goes from there. So this thing, she's going to start taking off here soon, boys. Let's just hope I can make enough money to keep the progress rolling. YouTube, if you hear that, please, you know, crank that RPM up. I make more money on these videos. Come on with it, boys. Get it while the getting's good. I could just stand here and look at this all day. I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do, because this is just amazing. Look at all the fanciness here. And when I welded the fronts of these, it was great. I welded the backs, they were great. But then when you weld the inside of these, man, they welded like doo-doo. It just made everything look horrible, you know? I got my tungsten stuck in there, but like, you know, my welds out here were great. And then you go to the inside and it's like, I think it makes this get some scale on it, and you can't get in there to clean it with anything. But I welded them as much as I could. These welds look real nice though. Look at that. The Miller Alpha TIG 225 XI, boy. Also, if you guys are wondering about the settings that I've been on the whole time I've welded all this stuff, all that, I got a little bit too much heat there. You see, I got a little gray. But welding all this stuff, I've been on 105 amps, and I've been using, let me find a rod here. Using this rod. I believe this is 1/8 inch rod. No, 332 maybe. Sorry, it's ER70S. It's 332, it's not 1/8 inch. Oh, it's 16th, not 8th, or 332. ER70S 16th rod. 100 amps. I got a Fupa 14 cup, and I've been at 35 CFH of flow on the argon, just so everybody can get a reference of what I like to weld the chromoly at, because I'm no chromoly expert, but if the fit up's good, I can make it look decent. So just a little tip, or not even a tip, just my preferences on my settings on what I've been using. It's all 085 chromoly, 1 5/8, 1 1/4. I'm gonna do my hoop for my mid plate out of 1 1/4, but all that stuff goes a whole lot more in depth with setting the crank and stuff like that. That's why I need to get it off the chassis jig, because I can't move around enough to measure all the stuff that I need and get under it and all that stuff. It needs to go back on the lift. So we're getting there slowly but surely. I just got to pull the mock-up motor, the turbos, the headers, and the trans back out of it, and then put some springs, some wheels, finish the steering, and we can roll this thing over to the lift. How about them apples? How about them apples? I'm pretty excited. Trying to get as much as I can done possible. Ron's got my motor. He's working on getting parts, working on checking the block, making sure we can use it. The trans is freshly rebuilt. Still got the same drive shaft. That's not going to change. Just a little bit of the wiring got burnt, so whatever wiring did get burnt, Austin can come over and help me fix. If I need help, I might just be able to figure it out myself. But once I get the majority of this stuff done, it should go back together pretty quick, you know. But like I said, I still got to mount fuel cell, radiator, do all that stuff, but that's for another day. I might do some searching on Google and Amazon and Summit tonight to see what I want to do for that kind of stuff. I really like the radiator and fan setup I had. It was huge, but I have plenty of room up there. I had two twin Spall fans. They moved a crap ton of air. I just had like a regular Davis Craig pump that I got from Motion. So I'll probably end up doing a lot kind of the same as I did because it worked well and I liked it. I'm going to make stuff a lot more accessible, make it a lot easier to pull in and out, on and off, because my other stuff, I was in such a hurry when I did it. It really screwed me up, so. But I'm really happy with how it's going. So I'm going to go get a shower. It's been a long day, and I'm going to look up some parts. So if you're watching this, thanks for watching. I really appreciate all the views, and I appreciate the comments and the shares and all the support. It's pretty awesome to see everybody actually giving a crap about what I'm doing. So thanks for watching.